Moment that happened on social media over the last 12 hours, and that's Donald Trump going after Vivek Ramaswamy. Trump posted on Truth Social, Vivek started his campaign as a great supporter, the best president in generations, he's called Donald Trump. Unfortunately, now all he does is disguise his support in the form of deceitful campaign tricks, very sly. But a vote for Vivek is a vote for the other side. Don't get duped by this. Vote for Trump. Don't waste your vote. Vivek is not MAGA. And the Biden indictments against his political opponent will never be allowed in this country. They are already beginning to fall MAGA.
Hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. Yes, you know what's funny to me, man? When liberals and leftists, they talk about the deep state as if it's some sort of crazy concept, as if they didn't freaking invent the thing. And they talk about it like anyone who would use the term is some sort of crazy tinfoil hat lunatic, right? When the fact is, everything that they believe, everything that they support, is basically a result of a media apparatus that has conspired and colluded with the state for decades. It's either that, or it is literally the result of an army of faceless, nameless, unelected, impossible to fire bureaucrats. And these bureaucrats, they're going to achieve their own agendas long before they ever think about implementing anything, some passing through president plans. Regardless of party, the president is just passing through to all these people. And guys, this is exactly who we're talking about when we say the deep state. There is no denying that it exists. And anyway, here's where I'm going with all this, right? So going into the Iowa caucus today, Donald Trump, he goes on Truth Social, and after all this time, he goes after Vivek Ramaswamy. And he says that Vivek is not MAGA. And I have to disagree with Donald Trump. It's rare, but you know, that's what conservatives do. It's okay to disagree. Vivek is not a plan. Vivek is not a weapon to be used against Donald Trump. He is an ally. He's not using deceit. He's not using trickery. But here's what I think. I think I know what upset Donald Trump. I think I know what he's talking about. You know, and it looks like, so Vivek campaign, they got some T-shirts that essentially say, vote for Vivek and save Donald Trump, which is pretty clever. And to his credit, Vivek was he was the first, and I think he's still the only candidate that has pledged that he would pardon Donald Trump no matter what. Obviously, that's not going to be necessary because there won't be any conviction, but it is a thought that counts. I mean, that's a serious thing to say when you're campaigning against someone for president. But here's the thing. I do disagree with Donald Trump about Vivek, but it's politics, and the guy is trying to win. And really, I think it's deeper than that. I think Donald Trump, I think their team realizes that they need a landslide. They can't afford any votes getting siphoned off, because I can already see it now. And guys, let me know in the comments if you think I'm on the right track or if you think I'm crazy. But I believe that if there isn't a Trump landslide, I think if the margin is any lower than like 15 points, the mainstream liberal media, they're going to spin this to all their mushy brain victims like some sort of Trump failure. They're going to say it's a loss. They're going to say that the polls showed X and the results are Y. Trump is a failure. He lost. The polls are wrong. This is going to happen, I promise you. Tomorrow we're going to see it. But Vivek gave a response to everything that's going on. And I think it's a response that any person who can still critically think really, really needs to see. But first, guys, if you haven't already, be a part of the channel's growth. 2024, man, this is going to be an important year to get conservative voices heard. So let's be heard together. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. Take a look at this.
Here's the hard truth, and nobody seems to want to acknowledge it, but it's what's happening in plain sight. And I'm going to ask you to open your eyes. They want to narrow this down to a two-horse race between Donald Trump and Nikki Haley, a puppet who they can control. Then they want to eliminate Donald Trump this spring or whenever it is, and trot their puppet into the White House. It's hiding in plain sight. We're not going to look back a year from now and say, oh, we were shocked that that happened. I think we're going to look back a year from now and say, how could we not see that happening when every clue was hiding in plain sight? They're selling us the rope today that they're going to use to hang us tomorrow. And we have an obligation to this country to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm in this race because we have a duty to this country and the America First movement to make sure this lives on no matter what. It didn't start in 2016. It started in 1776. And the system has made clear they're going to now stop at nothing, and I mean nothing, to keep Donald J. Trump out of office. I have pushed back against this at every step. I've filed FOIA demands against the Biden administration. What did Biden and Merrick Garland tell Jack Smith in those federal prosecutions? This week, I filed a Supreme Court brief laying out what I view as the best legal arguments that the Supreme Court does need to hear in order to overturn Colorado's disastrous ruling. I've pushed back against this at every step. I'm the only candidate who has said I would remove myself from Maine and Colorado's ballots if they eliminate Trump, and I've called on every other Republican to do the same thing because that's how we protect ourselves against this election interference. But at a certain point, we have to open our eyes and see the hard truth. And yes, our duty is to this country. And so all I'm asking is to open your eyes, see the plot. It's staring us in the face. It's a hard pill to swallow, but sometimes the truth hurts and we have to open our eyes to see it.
Yeah, so here's where I'm at on this, man. Vivek, he's not a real threat to Donald Trump, right? The machine has been out to destroy Vivek Ramaswamy from the beginning. And, you know, it's not that I don't think they particularly care about Vivek. I really don't think they believe that he's the Indian face of white supremacy, like they'll tell you. I think it's the Trump lesson. I think they learned that they do not like and they do not want to risk anything with an outsider. You know, they want only people that they at least think that they can control, or more importantly than control, predict. They know that they can predict Haley, DeSantis. They don't want to mess with another Trump, someone like Vivek. You know, and I thought Vivek's response was spot on, and really no surprise after watching the guy. He defends his credentials. You know, he defends and affirms his belief that President Trump is the greatest president of the 21st century. Obviously, that's a slam dunk. We all agree with that. But he went farther, you know, and I think, you know, what he said really does hit home with most people that still see what's going on, people that can still reason and just think on their own. You know, when he talks about the lengths that he believes that the deep state will go to keep Donald Trump out of the White House, he's right. A lot of us agree with that. And when he talks about, you know, what the establishment really does want to do to Donald Trump, these things, guys, are undeniable, I believe. And anyone who is watching, you know, the world in anything more than just the media provided sound bites sees that Vivek is absolutely speaking the truth. But anyway, that's just my take, guys. I thought you'd appreciate seeing that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. We'll see you in the next one.